Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Bellastrology Podcast. I'm your host and astrologer, Ashley. Happy Leo season. Happy solar return to all of my Leos out there. This is your moment in the sun. Although being ruled by the sun, you're just in your element. Happy birthday to you. I hope to see you soon for a reading with me. You get 15% off your reading with me when you book during your birthday month. So, Leos, you're up. Just use the code Solar Return at checkout. And I cannot wait to talk all about your birthday season. Now, I have to say, we are stepping into one of my favorite zodiac seasons. And if Cancer season, as we bid adieu to the season of the crab, as we were asked to really come home to ourselves over the last few weeks, Leo season now asks, if you came home to yourself, are you ready to live there? And the last few months, we've been swimming in these emotional waters of Cancer, and we've been tending to our hearts. Cancer season is a softer season. We've been tending to our homes. This has been a nurturing time, and as Mercury has been in retrograde, it has been a time to really slow down enough to really hear ourselves again. And Leo season is where we come back to the surface. Leo season is when the sun rises, because this is the sign that is ruled by the sun. And this is the return of light. It's the return of joy and return of life itself. Not that Cancer season isn't those things, but this is a season of vibrancy. It's a fire season. It's time to start moving energy. We are at the peak of summer. It is the season of the sun. And so the sun, it represents our life force. It represents our vitality. We can't live without the sun. We can't live without you, Leo. And so as the center of our solar plexus, this is coming home to our hearts. Leo rules the heart. And this season asks us to live from that place. And it's such a beautiful reminder. Leo simply asks, what makes you come alive? Not what makes sense to everyone else, not what is going to impress anyone else, not what looks successful or what everyone expects. This is what genuinely lights your soul on fire. And why aren't you doing that? What permission do you need to give yourself to do that? And I think somewhere along the way, we learned that taking up space was selfish. And I think that selfishness is such a beautiful thing to think about during Leo season, but particularly this Leo season, as I'll talk about this in the episode, but the North Node is moving into Aquarius, the sign of the individual. And along the way, I think a lot of us received this conditioning that shining too brightly makes people uncomfortable. That if we want to belong, we have to fit in. If we want to belong, we have to make ourselves smaller. And Leo says, no, it was never your light that was the problem. But the problem is when you hide it. And that is so much of this message of we're not hiding anymore. This is not a season to hide, to dim your light, to let your heart lead and shine in your most bright authenticity. And so here's a question I've been asking my clients lately is, what do you need permission for? Who are you waiting for permission from? And what that permission can be is nothing outside of ourselves, right? We don't actually need permission to change the career. We don't need the permission to create or to rest or to speak. You're the permission that you've been waiting for. And I think that's a beautiful thing that is just a gentle, wonderful reminder that we all need, is that you don't need an external permission. What are you waiting for? Leo reminds us that no one is coming to give you permission. You don't need someone else's permission. Life is just waiting for you to claim it. And that sometimes takes bravery, where you're used to waiting for permission, waiting to speak, waiting to take up space. It's uncomfortable. There's often fear there. And with Leo is not, the message here is not that confidence is something that comes and then you move. Confidence is following your heart and moving in that direction regardless of the fear. And what is so special, one of the things that's so special about this Leo season is that Jupiter just moved into Leo. And with that, Jupiter only comes into Leo every 12 years. So go back to 2014, what was happening in your life during that time frame? During Leo, 12 years ago, back in 2014, similar things you may expect to find. So wherever Jupiter is traveling, life is expanding. It's expanding your life, your hopes, your dreams, your perspectives, opportunities. Everything gets amplified where Jupiter is traveling. Now in Leo, that means it's expanding our hearts. It means that our creativity expands, that our confidence expands, our joy expands, and that's so beautiful. But here's what's also beautiful to know is that it's not just simply making something bigger, it's magnifying something that already exists. So if what already exists is where you're hiding, that's going to become maybe uncomfortable. This is a season that is encouraging us to move. It becomes harder to hide. And if you're playing small, you may get nudged into bigger rooms. If you've forgotten your joy, this is where, especially with Jupiter traveling through here of Leo, if you've forgotten your joy, it's going to remind you where you left it and why you're not picking it up, right? It's not really about starting over or becoming someone new. That's not the point. It's becoming more of yourself, giving yourself that permission to do the things that make your heart sing, that you're not performing a life for someone else. You're truly doing what inspires and fills you with so much joy and love and childlike wonder that it doesn't matter. And so what else is really significant about this Leo season is that the lunar nodes are shifting. So for the last 18 months, the lunar nodes have been traveling through the axis of North Node in Virgo, South Node in Pisces, or opposite, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. Well, they're about to shift during Leo season. And this marks a major collective shift. And I love that this is happening right now, especially given the astrological landscape that we have been experiencing the last few weeks. As the North Node enters the Aquarius and the South Node enters Leo, think about that. And at first glance, that's kind of confusing because wherever the South Node is, that's what we're stepping away from. Well, we have the Sun and Jupiter in Leo. And I actually think that this is working out so perfectly and beautifully because the Leo South Node doesn't say don't shine. That's not the message. It's asking you to stop performing, to walk away from those lower octaves of Leo where you're acting in a way for approval. It's asking you to release that. Release the need of becoming someone who's just easier to love. While the North Node stepping into Aquarius, which during this time that we're in right now seems just so freaking poetic, because the North Node in Aquarius reminds you that your uniqueness is what is truly shining, that your uniqueness was never meant to stay inside of you. That's what the collective needs more than anything right now. And your uniqueness becomes meaningful when you share it. And so Leo is about, I know who I am. I have presence. I know who I am. And Aquarius says, let's take what I am and give this gift to the collective. And one is, Leo is the flame, right? This beautiful spark, this flame inside of us. And Aquarius is this beautiful spark as well, but of a different flavor. A spark that if you share your flame with someone else, you're not dimming your flame. You're just igniting more, like constellations in the sky. And so I think that is such a beautiful message. One cannot exist without the other. Leo without Aquarius becomes selfish in the wrong kind of way. Not the Abraham Hicks way. And Aquarius without Leo becomes detached, unfeeling. And so that is very significant for the collective and this Leo season. Now, backing up a little bit, when we enter Leo season on July 22nd, the next day, Mercury is stationing direct. So stationing direct in Cancer. And so if the last few weeks have felt a little bit foggy, a little bit delayed, like conversations, there's been misunderstandings where you've been revisiting some old memories, things have come to the surface. Expect things to begin to become clear again, not overnight, but suddenly in our hearts, things start making sense again. And so with that, on July 29th, Saturn is stationing retrograde. And I think this is beautiful because Saturn represents our foundation. And so wherever you have Aries in your chart, what are you building there? Take a pause. What's going on in your life where you have Aries? Because what you're building in that area of life, can that actually support the life that you're calling in? For me, in where I have Aries, the answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. And that is, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful pause right there that says there needs to be a little bit of reconstruction here. It's not a failure. We're just maybe changing direction here. And we're building. This is the construction zone. Now, also, we have a full moon in Aquarius happening on July 29th. And this, mark your calendars, this is called the full buck moon, by the way. I'll have an episode diving into this lunation when we get closer to that date, but Pluto is standing next to this one. And this, Pluto's standing next to the moon for this full moon in Aquarius. And so it's not subtle. Whenever Pluto's involved, it's never subtle. This is an extremely transformative full moon. And I think what becomes visible under this full moon is setting the stage for what this eclipse story is starting with the new moon at the end of the month. So Pluto transforms, full moons illuminate. And so together it's showing us where we've outgrown, what needs to be surrendered, where we've outgrown our identities, our fears, our relationship with our own self-worth. And so I think this full moon is really what old version is not coming with us. And then we'll get to the new moon and everything will become clear. So that new moon in Leo is a total solar eclipse. It's on August 12th and it's at 20 degrees of Leo. And so they're new moons, but they're unlike new moons. These are cosmic accelerators. They remove, they redirect, they reveal, and sometimes they open doors that you never imagined were even possible, or they close doors that we have been afraid to leave. And the most important thing to remember, and I always tell everyone around eclipse, is this is very powerful energy. You don't want to add more flame to the fire. With eclipse, The only thing that you have to do is surrender. Let the eclipse do what they need to do. And you don't have to force anything. In fact, the more you force, the more you grip, the harder it is going to be. And so when you surrender, they are easier to unfold. And so think about a solar eclipse with the moon that passes over the sun. We're removing the light, so we only have the darkness. So I think the message to remember is that in the darkness, we're not revealed and shown the whole path, only the next step. But are you brave enough to take that next step? Now, here in northern Minnesota, we will see a little bit of this eclipse in the afternoon on August 12th, but it won't be a total eclipse for us. But just a reminder, you will notice that it is there. Always notice, check in with energy under those eclipses. I will do a new moon solar eclipse episode so we can talk more about this, but mark your calendars. So if there is something that I could leave you with as we embark on this new season, it would be simply this. How do I stop? How do I stop shrinking myself? And instead of asking, well, how do I become more confident in order to do that? What if you just trusted your heart? What if you trusted that it already worked out? What if you let go of the worry and the fear and let your heart be your compass? Because, like I said, confidence is not something that you find first. It is the courage to move forward, even when there's fear. It's loving something enough, trusting something enough to move anyway. And so as you are moving through this season, pay attention to the whispers. Pay attention to what lights you up, that calling. What makes you feel like a child? What are the things that you used to do as a child that brought you joy? It's the simplest things. What dreams keep occurring, keep reoccurring? It's time to go after them. It doesn't mean it's not going to be scary. It doesn't mean that fear is not going to be there. But let your heart decide. Those ideas that you can't stop thinking about, the joy that you've been postponing. Why? Give yourself permission to follow your heart. And that version of you that keeps whispering, the message that is coming through is it is time. So if that is you, and you've been looking for a sign or a message, this is your sign. It is time. This is your time. You've got Jupiter on your side. You've got the eclipse happening. Mercury retrograde is over. Saturn is helping you to rebuild your foundation so that you're solid, so that you can live the life that you dream. Leo season isn't asking you to become something else. It's not asking you to shine brighter. It's asking you to stop hiding your light. Give yourself permission to shine. And don't perform your light for someone else or something else. Let it be so authentically you. Thank you so much for spending this Leo season episode with me. If there is someone that you know that needs this light message, like we all do, I'd love it if you like, share, talk about it, tell someone about it. These likes and shares and episodes just keep us growing. And I appreciate that so much, with so much gratitude in my heart. Until next time, I do have 2 sound baths during Leo season. So for the full moon and for the eclipse. So all those are listed on the Divine North website. Divine North is in northern Minnesota, the Brainerd Lakes area. So if you're local, please join us for that. They're going to be so magical. And until next time, keep looking up at the stars. Keep following your heart. but always remember that those stars may guide us, but it is your courage that brings your chart to life. From my heart to yours, happy Leo season. Bye for now.